Hello, thanks for joining me today. I decided to take a pause on some of my other projects for a bit and focus on the historic counteroffensive taking place in Russia right now. This first segment is an update and discussion concerning the Ukrainian counteroffensive into the Russian region of Kursk that started on August 6th. This surprise incursion conducted by Ukrainian forces now has reportedly claimed more than 1,100 kilometers of Russian territory and marks the largest attack on sovereign Russian soil since the Nazi invasion in World War II, Operation Barbarossa. This initial attack focused on the town of Sudzha, a little less than 10 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, located in Russia's Kursk region, which is 530 kilometers from Moscow. I think that it's noteworthy to point out that Russia has only managed to penetrate about 8 kilometers into Ukraine this entire year. But before we go comparing and contrasting, we should note that there is a lot of context to the details that are required to discuss first. We'll be exploring some of these details during this discussion. With that, let's switch to ISW's interactive map. That is the Institute for the Study of War. I'd like to give ISW and AEI's Critical Threats project full credit for their gracious permission to use the maps from my videos. For orientation, the eastern side of Ukraine, which is the Donbass region, is mostly occupied by Russia and therefore represented by a red shaded area. The recent Ukrainian incursion is located northwest of the Donbass, near Sumy in the Sumy Oblast of Ukraine, and represented with blue diagonal striping. The area of the incursion as of 18 August 2024 is 1,100 kilometers or 424 square miles. For context, LA County or Los Angeles County in the U.S. is 469 square miles, so it's a little bit less than LA County in its entirety. Now for a bit of historical context. Back on August 6, Ukrainian forces entered Russia along two avenues of approach. One was to head northeast towards Sudzha along P200. So let's zoom in to P200 right here. This is the LD right here. I've got the terrain profile, the elevation profile turned on. Let's take a look. This is Sudzha right here. If we turn the measurement on, create a new profile, and we start right here at the LD and just kind of trace along P200 here towards Sudzha. Terminate right outside, and on the right side here you can see that 7-mile length, loss of 596 feet. So sometimes it's relevant to look at the terrain profile. Let's end that one. And then the other avenue of approach was a little bit west over here, out of Zuravka towards Nikolaevo Darino. So let's zoom in. This is Zuravka right here. New profile. We start on this unidentified road. Probably should turn street maps on. Trace this all the way up here to Nikolaevo Darino. And it looks like that was a 2.7 mile length across the LD on 6 August at a 1,300 foot loss. That's significant. So by August 14th, Ukrainian forces had fully secured Sudzha, and then they began their other advancing towards Koronevo, which is right here. Sometimes if we turn these layers off, we can see a little clearer. This is Koronevo right here. And then pan out a little bit. Lagov is all the way up here north. Let's let the map render for a sec. And it's right there. Also by this time, the ground lines of communication, or the Glocks, had been established up north along E38. So let's take a look at those. For that, I'd probably turn on street map, and that'll highlight E38 for us. You can see E38, which is a major corridor that extends east and west across the Kursk Oblast, and that is actually also known as the Sudzha Koronevo Highway. Here it is right here. You can see the M2 dissect it, and it heads up to actually the town or the city of Kursk. And once again, that is the Sudzha Koronevo Highway. Ground lines of communication have been established by Ukrainian forces as of 14 August. Now for this week's update. Ukrainian forces, or AFU, that's Armed Forces Ukraine, has made small advances in the Kursk Oblast with fighting and an AFU victory in a skirmish near Vishnevka. So Vishnevka is southwest of Koronevo. Let's turn on the reporting tool. So we go over here, Kursk Incident Event Reporting Tool. Those wall populates. This is a great feature that ISW has. This is Koronevo right here, so southwest would be this incident. Let's see what it says. Geolocated footage posted on August 19 shows Russian armed forces striking UAF positions in Vishnevka. It's got some grids there. Let's view. It'll probably take us to X, and it did. associated imagery with the UAF or AFU getting blasted, it looks like, and there's even a video. Let's check out the video on X. So you see the video, and it really brings reality to the map and the discussion. This was in the last 24 hours. A lot of independent engagements, as you can see from the Kursk event tracker. So let's go back east. One in particular occurred northeast of Sudzha recently. If we go back, so here's Sudzha right here, northeast. Geolocated footage posted on August 19th shows a Russian FPV, that's a Russian first-person view drone, striking a Ukrainian armored vehicle north of Martinovka. And so the link took us to Martinovka. You can see the imagery right there, the field just above it, and there was a video embedded as well. So this is the field in a view, first-person view drone striking the Ukrainian armored vehicle. So we've looked at the west, we've looked at the east down by Sudzha, and if we go all the way out by the extreme east out over here, on the organized skirt of the territorial advance of Ukrainian forces, we can see all kinds of different skirmishes and events that are happening out here on what you would call the forward line of troops, if you would call it that. This is a town called Giri, so this territorial hold may expand a bit over the next few days. Of course, although it's misleading to consider this a conventional maneuver framing, as the red lines you see here are actually Russian field fortifications. If we pan out, we can see quite a few Russian field fortifications splitting right down the middle of the Ukrainian-held battle space. So the entire battle space is a bit loose, if you will. I don't want to just cover individual events and or skirmishes. It's good to look at a few to provide context, but another good tool is this daily map that the ISW publishes. It covers the highlights and it kind of gives you a once-over of what's going on, and then covers the relevant news from the area. So I like to cover the news. I'd like to cover the news from Ukraine and Russia. Here's one that the ISW just posted, which really characterizes the Russian mindset, as they place little value on life. They value mission success and duty above all else, even life itself. So here we go. Chechen Akhmat Spetsnaz commander Abdi Aladanov aggravated a situation that the Kremlin has historically treated with extreme caution by calling for conscripts to participate in combat operations in Kursk Oblast and dismissing concerns from relatives of conscripts. Aladanov responded in a video message on August 19th to the sobs and outbursts about Russian conscripts fighting in Kursk, complaining that parents of conscripts are treating 18-year-olds as children. Aladanov claimed that Russian conscripts are employees of the Russian Ministry of Defense and must defend Russia. Aladanov complained that conscripts are just eating the state's bread for free and then go home. Aladanov responded to complaints that conscripts are paid little, calling on conscripts to sign a contract with the MOD if they want to receive higher salaries. Aladanov called for all Russians, young and old, to stand in formation since the enemy has come to Russia, stating that no one will die who is not destined to die. But if you die defending Russia and your faith in God, you will go to heaven. Telegram channel associated with the Akhmat Ida group also claimed on August 19th that the conscripts they have encountered in Sudzha, Kursk Oblast, are not 18-year-olds, but 21 to 25-year-olds. The IDA-affiliated channel suggested that the fact that the Ukrainian forces are on Russian territory is more important than any discussions about casualties among Russian conscripts. So once again, you kind of see their perspective, and with Russian propaganda having 40, 50, 60 years, who knows, that they are masters at the art of deception, Moskirovka. So there's no telling what could be hidden in their propaganda and what they're trying to achieve through their aims. In summary, Ukrainian forces are making advances west in and around Koronevo. They're advancing east in and around Giri, as I showed you earlier, and extending the forward line of troops, or at least a perceived territorial perimeter. The town of Sudzha was an early objective that worked out very well for them and remains their most significant conquest. So there is little utility in reviewing every single incident, but moving forward, probably better to capture the operational gains, such as the bridges that the Ukrainian forces destroyed, although one of them was a pontoon bridge. I believe that was out. I don't see incident markers, but that was out in this area, and I believe one of the rivers was the same river. Sometimes you got to pan out to make sure that you're not in Ukraine here. There's the LD. So I was south. So it would have been over here in this Alexeyevka. But there were some bridges that were destroyed by Ukrainian forces early in the week. I believe that was across the same river. The mechanized assaults in the outskirts of Koronevo are significant. I probably should have covered those. One of the nuances of the modern battlespace is that the fighting in the battlespace is scattered, asymmetrical, and very inconsistent. At any moment, scores of UAVs may cover the sky with highly effective ISR and targeting capabilities. COTS, or commercial off-the-shelf UAVs with mods, can provide thermal, electro-optical, and IR capabilities to users. So the point is, the wide availability, the wide commercial availability of these highly advanced systems is an important perspective to keep in 2024. So I think I'll wrap this up now. I like to keep these things under 10 minutes, and I'm well over that now. So thanks for joining me today, and please leave comments or tips or things that you'd like to see. This was my first run, so pretty clunky, but I'll tighten my shot group and try to get back with a more refined product in the future. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.